wanted to make a video comparing two relatively popular Finnish camping knives. The first one is Peltonen M07 Sissipuukko, and the second one is the Varusteleka JÄÄKÄRIPUUKKO. So both of them are relatively popular, relatively easy to get, and I think they deserve kind of a head-to-head comparison, at least here at the desk. So briefly about each knife. This one is made by a company I think called Peltonen Knives. They originally made a longer version that was kind of more military aimed, and this one is a shorter one that I think is a little bit more practical for outside use. 80 CRV steel, no sharp spine, very sharp saber kind of grind, rubber handle. They come with a choice of plastic or leather sheath. Both are quite functional, work very well. You can buy them in the United States easily. There are several companies that are selling them. You can buy them on eBay. They're about $100. Be careful because some of them do come with grinds that are better than others, so if you are picky, it's better to find one that you like. The second one is called JÄÄKÄRIPUUKKO. It's there's a company in Finland, a kind of outdoor goods company called Varusteleka, and they make these knives for their store. You can only buy them there if you're buying them new. They are also the same steel, I think 80 CRV. Rubber handle, also a little bit harder rubber I think on this one than this one, but similar. The spine here is sharp and you can strike fire steel with it. The grind is more of a Scandi, and it's actually quite a steep, obtuse Scandi with a secondary bevel. These cost about $50 for the knife and $50 for the sheath, approximately. You buy them separately. Shipping from there is very affordable, so basically the price for these two knives is the same if you get the sheath along with the knife. So briefly comparing them, steel is basically the same. They also honestly feel like they're made maybe even in the same factory. They're just very similar in kind of how they are done. The blade is a little bit longer on this one. The spine is the difference. The grind is probably the biggest difference in these two knives. The grind on the Varusteleka knife is much more obtuse and much more tough. This knife is definitely made for more abuse, and this one is definitely more of a slicer and general purpose knife. The handles are similar. The Varusteleka knife has a little bit smaller handle. This one is a little bit more beefy. Both are comfortable. I don't see any real problems with either one of them. Sheath, Varusteleka sheath is excellent. Leather sheath, dangler, it has a little clip here. If you clip it closed, the knife does not come out. If you have it open, the knife is still retained, but comes out easily. The sheath is wonderful. The Peltonen knives comes with two options for sheath, a plastic sheath and a leather sheath with a plastic insert. Both are, very functional. There's not much that can be better about them. You can pick one when you're buying the knife. You can pick whichever one you want, usually. As far as other versions I have here, so I have two of these Peltonen knives here. The difference is on this one I took off these ribs. I personally think it feels better without the ribs. They're easy to take off just with sandpaper basically and a file. Makes it a little bit more comfortable to hold and does not really affect it doesn't affect the retention in the sheath, doesn't affect anything negatively. An easy 5-minute job. The Varusteleka ones, I did two different things to them. This one is pretty much stock knife, but I ground the bevel to take off the micro bevel. So it's now a real Scandi, makes it a lot sharper. I think it's still relatively tough because how obtuse the Scandi grind is. I think it's 10 degrees per side, something like that, or 11 degrees per side, but it's very, very, you know, I don't know if I cannot show it in the camera, but it's definitely very tough grind. This one is the same knife, but I ground it to have kind of a convex flat bevels. So this makes it much more slicier. It's a little bit harder to do, I think, for most people without grinding experience. This would be a little bit of a challenge to make it look good. You can use an angle grinder, but it's dangerous and you could mess it up. So these are kind of the knives I have. As far as my feelings about it, my favorite one, the one that I use the most, is this one. I feel like the handle on it is the most comfortable one to my medium-large hands. The sliciness of this is the best. It holds the edge fine. You know, definitely nothing spectacular, but it's acceptable. Easy to sharpen. It's light. It's probably the lightest one. The Varusteleka sheath works fine with it. This is just an excellent combination. I probably would not be doing anything super heavy with it, but I really don't do anything heavy with this knife, so it's my favorite one. The second one probably would be the Peltonen. I think the grind is very practical, and you can use it for many different things. You could use it for cooking. You can use it to split wood. You know, really anything you want. The spine is not sharp, but I don't really use that so much. So this really would be my second choice, honestly. It incidentally fits great into the Varusteleka sheath if you have that. You know, it's a perfect combination if you like a dangler sheath. You know, this one is fine too. Their sheath is acceptable. It holds the knife quite well. This design, I feel, is a little bit clunky, but you can't put it on with your belt without taking off your belt, so you know, it works completely. Plastic sheath is good too if you plan to get things wet. As far as the stock Varusteleka knife, honestly, this is the one I probably use the least. Even this one, just because it's really made for very heavy use. More of a, I would call this like a survival knife. So if you are in a situation where you are surviving, maybe this would be the best option, but I am rarely in those situations, so to me it's kind of not quite practical enough for the kind of cutting I do. But definitely an affordable and very nice version. That's pretty much it. I guess if you are not planning to grind bevels, the M07 from Peltonen is probably the best option for not very heavy use that I think most people practically end up using these knives for. Have a good day.